Hi, my name's Hannah and I'm one of the speech and language therapists that works at Communicate. Today we're going to show you some activities and ideas to use with bricks, hopefully something that you have around the house. So we're thinking firstly about our preschool children and those children who are just kind of starting to learn to talk, and bricks can be a really great way of working on turn taking. So something as simple as sharing the bricks out and doing mummy's turn, Amber's turn, mummy's turn, Amber's turn. That repetition is really important and can be really helpful. You can also do things like on top, on top, on top. It's that repetition that really helps. Don't feel though that you have to play with the bricks in that way. One of the great things to do with young children is to kind of get the bricks out or the items and look and see how they play with it, and then talk to them about what they're doing using really short phrases or single words. If you don't have bricks, there are other options. You could use Tupperware to do some building, or yogurt pots, in the same way with like my turn and your turn or the child's name. The other thing that you can do with the Tupperware, which is really great, is it lends itself to shapes. So things like circle and rectangle for our children who are getting ready for school, and then perhaps for our reception children you could even move on to 3D shapes such as a cuboid. You can also use building to work on concepts and problem solving, so thinking about where they would start with their tower. So why are we going to start with the biggest one first, and then thinking about using words like balance and putting things on top. Is it going to fall down? It's getting wobbly. You could do a family activity where you saw who could do the highest skyscraper, or you could do something that you did together. So words like bigger, who can make it the tallest, and also kind of thinking about asking those questions. Remember though that our younger children, our children who are just in school, might struggle with things like why and how questions. So thinking about children who are perhaps getting a little older, our year one children, or even children that are older than that, they might feel that using Tupperware and yogurt pots is not so much fun. So perhaps Lego is the way to go with them. We often have those kind of bags of Lego and odd bits, which lend themselves to kind of talking about things that absolutely shouldn't belong in their Lego box. But you could actually do something more structured with your children, so perhaps sharing out some bricks so that you each have the same. You can see that I've kind of sorted mine out here, and actually putting, you could use your Tupperware again, putting a barrier in the middle. Tupperware, book will work just as well. I often use a book, and then taking in turns to give the other person instructions of how to build the tower. So you might use language such as start with the red one, and you're hoping your child uses the red one. Can you put the blue brick on top of the red brick? And you would do yours your side and your child the other. And then the idea is that you would continue to give those instructions until you got to a point where you could compare them, and then you could see who or if you've got the same tower. You can then swap that around, so you can take in turns with your child giving instructions or following the instructions. To make it harder, you could use different kinds of bricks. You can use language like in the middle to one side. You could use left and right for our junior children. But don't forget, what you need to do is you need to make sure you've kind of got a common vocabulary. So kind of in my house, we'd call that a two-er because it's 2 by 2, or this one a 3-er. Or you might do it by the number of spots. So just think about how you would kind of set that up. There's other language that's really great for this, so we can use the words like flat, bumpy, smooth. If you have a child who's into more complex things, you could do who can build the wackiest alien. You could build houses and set up roads together. I remember when I was younger, we used to spend hours kind of building houses and using books for our roads. That would work really, really well for younger children, kind of in reception in year 1. But also, kind of if they've got older brothers and sisters, that's a great opportunity to do something collaboratively and plan it. You could have different shops and those kinds of things. And the last thing to kind of say is that for those children who are at high school, there are some really, really lovely apps out there for animation with Lego figures. I think the Lego Movie released an app off the back of that. And there are also some websites for animation too. So hopefully that's given you just a few ideas of how you might use Lego blocks or even your Tupperware to work on concepts and speech and language.